This meeting is being recorded. Okay.
Yes, there you go. You got that? The meeting is being recorded. If you don't like it,
I didn't know this was a meeting. I would have, I would have brought, coilers.
well, it is kind of a meeting, Mikey. I mean, in many ways. I mean, you and I meet, and then people access now on YouTube and on Facebook, and they listen, and I don't know what they do with the material. I'm sure some people we know make fun of it.
They use it later. They use it later. They use it later in a different setting.
Yeah, I'm sure that one night we'll be watching Seth Meyers or Stephen Colbert or one of the satire shows, and our pictures will appear there in some context.
Of course,
like look at what these two guys said.
And they meant it when they said it, they meant it, and they meant it with all their heart.
How are you, pal?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm chugging along here. I cannot get a COVID test.
Tell me the story of why Vinnie, who's been warned that he may be exposed to somebody with the virus, can't get a test.
Well, I got a wee little note on my phone. I woke up, I don't know, what was it, Tuesday, Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday.
Yes, it was Wednesday.
Yeah, got a little thing and said, you may possibly have been exposed to somebody with COVID on December 29th.
The day a car was delivered to you, right?
Yeah. Stay under the bed. Don't come out. Warn your neighbors. Do all of the stuff. I don't feel any symptoms or anything like that. I don't feel bad. I had a little stomach something going on for a day or two, but that's about it. But
so you're not sick, but you were warned.
Yeah, I was warned, and they said it was an under 15-minute exposure.
Whoa.
So in that regard, they said it says that the CDC says, and I know a lot of us aren't believing what the CDC is saying much anymore in many ways, only because they say one thing 1 minute and one thing the next.
Why don't they talk it over before they say anything? Why can't the CDC just make it plain and simple and get it right the first time?
Beats the living crap out of me.
And these are doctors, right? These are doctors. Yeah.
Really it's not, they're not like Moonlight Graham, a country doctor. And, these are like people who have
secondary actors on Grey's Anatomy. They're not like that.
Yes. They've studied public health and sanitation and all the different things that go along with having that kind of responsibility. Anyway, to make a long story even longer.
Thank you.
I go to, so, all right, let's go get a test. Well, I call my buddies down here at the hospital. I said, sorry, we can't do anything without a doctor's orders. All right, so I call the doctor. Well, the doctor says, well, under the guidelines, you're triply done, so we're not doing tests at the time. I said, wait a minute. When I got surgery a month ago, I got a test. Why?
Yeah, that was because it was a month ago. Things have changed. Now everybody's got it.
So I went to a couple of the local drugstores. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
They're selling all they can sell at $29.95 a test.
And they don't have any to sell. They're sold out.
They're sold out. As soon as we put them on the shelf, they're gone. I could buy one on eBay for, I forget what it was, like $120.
Oh, the free market system at work.
God bless America, huh? So I'm sitting here still with no COVID test. I have an appointment for next Wednesday, as long as I don't die before then.
But by that time, your 10 days of isolation will be over, and you will have proven to them you don't have it instead of the other way around. Would have been nice if they could have proven it to you.
Is it 5 days or is it 10?
It used to be 10, but then they shortened it to 5 so that the basketball players could get back to work.
And also the airline people.
Yeah, and also the NFL.
God forbid that we couldn't fly someplace for, whatever it is.
And God forbid that Aaron Rodgers can't play football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, there's a myriad of things going on there. So anyway, that's where we sit.
I'm sitting right next to Novak Djokovic.
Well, no, I'm not an idiot about it.
You're trying to get a test and they won't give you one. He won't take the test, and so they put him in a hotel.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think I have it.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't because if I had it, when I get these kind of things, I get sick. I mean, I get like, you know, I get like Don Rickles when he hasn't told a joke for an hour and a half.
That's bad. Well, that's terrible. That's sick. That's awful. I hate to see that.
By the way, if you get a chance to watch the Don Rickles, it's called the Don Rickles Project. I think it's on Netflix or Prime, one of them. Certainly worth an hour of your time.
Is it the story of his life, or is it a special program?
It goes into the story of his life. It tells the background of Rickles. It shows his close relationship with Bob Newhart, how their families took vacations together.
Really?
Oh yeah, they had pictures of it, the Great Wall of China and Italy and all over the place. And talks about, Don Rickles is from my neighborhood.
He's a good boy from Queens.
Admittedly, before I was there, but yeah, he grew up in Jackson Heights.
So Jackson Heights is famous for guys with a gift of gab, you'd say?
Well, yeah, because there's quite a few people have come out of Jackson Heights. You got the Lucy Liu, Adrian Brody, Howard Stern, Gene Simmons. The gift of tongue, if not gab.
What's his real name? It wasn't Gene Simmons in Jackson
Heights. It was
Hillel
Simowitz or something like that. Very, very Moishe Simowitz or something like that. I mean, he had a really Jewish name. But again, so there's been quite a few people that have come out of Jackson Heights. Rickles went to the same high school I went to. Gene Simmons went to the same. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I ever told you the story about. I interviewed Gene Simmons when I worked at KRQR. I was filling in for Mercy Hawks in the afternoon at KRQR. Remember Mercy Hawks?
I do not remember Mercy Hawks. Was that a guy or a girl?
It was a guy, or is a guy. I don't know if he was or is. And they come up to me, like as things usually happen at KRQR, 10 minutes before.
10 minutes late.
10 minutes, you're going to interview Gene Simmons. He's in town.
That would make it easier to interview him if he was in town.
Yeah, in those days, although they used to phone a lot. So bang, Gene Simmons, 10 minutes later, Gene Simmons comes walking in the studio.
And he's only this big?
Oh, yeah. And so what do? I start to talk to him about the only thing. I mean, I know Kiss and everything, but he's in town writing a book or something like that. So I start to talk. I says, you and I went to the same junior high school. And he looks at me and goes, no, really? I said, yeah. We went to 145. You went to 145? I said, yeah, man.
That's it. You guys are friends forever.
I says, you remember Annie's candy store on the corner of 80th and Northern? He says, yeah. I used to fold papers at Annie's candy store. I said, you kidding me? I used to fold papers at Annie's candy store. In New York, you
have to put the sections together.
Yeah, the papers come on Thursday or Friday, and then you put you put them together, and then on Sunday you have to go back and put the main section into the paper, so that it so that you have a complete paper. So some kids delivered papers, other kids who were a little bit smarter worked in a candy store assembling the papers. So you went on Thursday and you assemble the papers, and you went back on Sunday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to assemble the papers so people go out and get them. And so we had this great, so now we're off, man. We're talking, I think you had a book or something like that, and that's why he was in town.
He doesn't care about the book anymore.
We're rapping and flapping about, Jackson Heights and people we knew and boom. It was great.
Oh, good job, Vin.
So it was, you've talked to enough people where you have them not on what they're there to sell.
Much better. What
they, you touch their heartstring. You hit something in them that, the interview wasn't about his tongue. It wasn't about Peter Chris. It wasn't about why do you dress up like that. It wasn't about the wildest thing that,
But where the hell do you get your boots? You don't get those boots in
how
in
many
Jackson
women have
Heights.
you? No. This was about playing stickball in the schoolyard. The whole, something that only somebody else that grew up in the neighborhood would get at us, would understand, relate to somebody on that level. It was great.
Did the program director love you?
I don't think the program director at that time was that. I'm trying to remember if it was Chris Miller or if it was Larry Snyder at that time.
Well, Chris Miller tried to do all the cooking and Larry did the rest.
Yeah, I think it was Larry because Chris, I was on an afternoon drive.
Right.
And I remember that Chris always had a problem because of my accent of put me on an afternoon, like in the day. He would put me on at night with no problem.
That guy hated me.
Chris Miller?
Oh, God. He hated the morning show so bad.
He was a strange dude, man. He really was. Yeah, I mean, he was, he was interesting, dude.
He never told us what to do. He never told us how to make it better. Never had a meeting on it. It was only that he hated it.
Well, I worked again at the short-lived KDBK, America's first FM talk station.
No good. That's no good for him. That's no good for him.
And this was a startup, and he didn't tell anybody what to do. He was one of these guys that hated confrontation.
He hated conversation.
Well, no, because I had some good conversations with him, but except when it came to work.
Yeah.
When it came to work, he was one of those people that he couldn't, he just couldn't give you direction. He couldn't explain to you, or he could explain it to you, but he didn't want to hear your feedback, not because he didn't want to hear it, but because he wouldn't want to tell you were wrong. He was a very, very early precursor to Seattle. He actually probably should have patented passive aggressive. He probably should have put it right there.
Well, it's funny how we both have him in our past, where he belongs.
Yeah. But you know what? I still got respect for him. I got respect for him. He gave me a good break on a major radio station. And I'm always eternally grateful for that kind of stuff. And then gave me another break. He got me out of a taxi cab. I mean, he gave me my first full-time on-the-air job, which, for me was, incredible. I mean, I was driving a cab and working part-time at KRQR. And I was one of the first phone calls he made when he took over Viacom's KDBK. And it was always weird to go back into that building.
Boy, I'll bet.
On Harrison
Street, yeah.
And see the different people it would add now, as opposed, because we had the ghosts.
All the bodies are there, but they're the wrong bodies.
They're the only bodies that were the same. I'm trying to think now. Mimi never worked at the city. Let's see, what was the lineup at that station? It was mornings was Blake and BJ.
Who's that?
BJ Shea, who's here, and then Blake. I can't remember his last name. Who came
Blake
over?
Lawrence.
Yes, who came over from KKSF.
Yeah, I like Blake.
Yeah, he worked about 3 weeks with BJ, and then went out on sick leave, and we never saw him again.
Wow.
And then middays was M. Dung.
10 to 2, M. Dung.
10 to 2, M. Dung. 2 to 6 was Charlie Weiss and Barry Weintraub. Charlie was a Sacramento guy, rest his soul. He passed away a few years ago.
From sports radio.
No. He was a rock DJ.
Oh, I see.
And Barry was a comedian. And then Mimi came on at 6, Mimi Chen. And there was a guy, Scott something. I can't remember his name. It was on from
Scott Van Pelt.
now on Scott Van Pelt. What he annoys me, that guy.
I know. That's why I mentioned it.
Oh God, I don't know why.
You'll never get sick if you think of Scott Van Pelt. You'll just get so angry the germs will evaporate.
Yeah, I just I don't know why. I just can't. I think it's the football helmets with his head on it. I mean, it's like, is your freaking ego that big
that you have to be SVP?
Yeah, that you have, that it's SV. It's like you're like I don't know.
They're branding him. They're branding him as more than just a guy who sits there. He's the guy who sits there, but he has helmets with his cartoon on it.
Helmets and other stuff on it with his caricature cartoon thing, and I don't know. I just it just bothers me. Anyway,
see, it does nothing to me. But when someone ruins, but I react to people who rub me the wrong way, and no one can understand it.
It's a personal thing. There's people that you meet in life that just you don't hate them, but they rub you the wrong way. You just don't want to consume what they have.
You don't want to be in their presence any longer.
I'm sure I rub people. You rub people the wrong. I mean, we've all met people that we've rubbed the wrong way.
Chris Miller. There you have it. What did I do?
Yeah, and to me, and it's different because Chris Miller doesn't bother me. I mean, I always tried to figure out what he wanted. He was very bad at saying what he wanted. And that probably led to the eventual downfall of the radio station. That and the fact that a guy named Bruce Ravenstock was running the place, and he was nary in life did you meet a guy whose name
stark raving mad.
Equaled his
who hired him? Why did Viacom hire him?
Bill Figgenshoe hired him.
Oh dear. So he didn't care one way or the other. He was just hiring somebody.
He just brought in Bill Figgenshoe, brought in Bruce. And listen, to be fair, Bruce was a wild man. He was crazy, but his only words to the staff was make great radio. Do what you need to do to make great radio. We don't have any money.
We don't have any tools for you to use.
We don't have any tools. Well, we got one computer.
We don't have a production room, but let's get it going.
Oh, they had a production. They had all of that stuff. They had, they had some tape, and they had some editing tape, and they had a couple of editing blocks.
Well, good. We can make a commercial.
So they could make a commercial if anybody could sell one. And they even had a remote box so that we could go out to different places and do remotes. I remember we did an election day remote at the Paradise Lounge.
Good. A lot of voters there.
Which was, vote, come in and get drunk. California, one of the few states that allows the sale of alcohol on election day.
It's a business. What are you going to do?
Excuse me. So it was, by all means, a crazy place. It was, we put together shows like we did the sex workers job fair.
Good. I like it. You see, but it's a joke that gets one laugh. But now to extend that over a 3-hour show is trouble.
No, but we made it work. See, that was the thing. We actually made it work because we approached it as you would approach a regular job fair. So we had an author who had just written the Encyclopedia of Sex. Brenda Love was her name. And she came in.
What's
and
X? By the way, what is A and what is X? Do you remember? Too much to ask.
Well, I remember that she had illustrations. She didn't have photographs, but she had illustrations. And there was one illustration probably about mid-book. I still have the book. She, signed copy of the book that had the strange phenomena of impaling.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get hurt. It's all good fun until someone gets hurt.
It's all good fun until somebody drives a nail in something.
It had to be a nail, didn't it? Or it could have been a screw, a long wood screw.
Oh, please, no. No. I know what having a screw taken out of your body feels like. I've had it. It's happened.
Doesn't sound
And
like
I'm going
that's
to tell
good.
you,
You don't like it.
you don't want it to happen to you. You want to do anything to avoid.
Is that one of those things where they say we can't numb you up for this one?
Exactly.
Why? Well, you're going to numb me
Yeah,
up.
which was always my question.
Why?
Why?
You numb me up for everything else.
You put me to sleep for the operation when you put them in.
I just wanted you to know what it's like.
Then
Yeah,
take them out.
taking them out. Can't do it. Sorry, that's the rules. No. We can serve you a drink on election day, but no numbing up of the foot if you're going to take it out.
Well, here's where the doctor made his fatal mistake.
He stood too close to you.
Exactly. When I had pins in my leg from the motorcycle accident.
Right.
I also had a cast on my right arm. And they had to hold me down. I mean, there was, they had to hold me down because the way they take it out is they take a drill, like a regular
reverse drill.
Yeah, like a drill. They hook it up to the rod, which is really nothing but a long screw that holds your bone in place. They hook it up, they clamp down on it, and they drill it out. And they say, don't worry, you're not going to feel anything.
Yeah.
Well, you've never had the screw put in you, obviously.
Yeah, or taken out.
Or taken out. Either way. I can't imagine it's much pleasant going in either. But luckily, they put you out for that. So they're holding me, and they got two guys on one side and two guys on the other side. And the other technician or doctor, I forget, I guess it was, is boom, 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 boom. But the orthopedic doctor is supervising, and he's standing here while I'm lying on this table in this treatment room.
At least you got somebody in the hierarchy.
And the first one comes out, it's not so bad because they do it quick. I mean, it hurts like hell, but it's boom. Second one comes out, not so bad. Third one comes out a little worse.
Uh-oh.
Number 4 comes out, it's in my heel. And instead of the pin being straight like this, it's got just a little bend on it.
Just got a little flare.
Just enough. So that when they hook it up and take it out, instead of coming just straight out, it's going like this.
Yeah.
And that, my friend, you don't want.
Is the reason your doctor got a broken schnozola.
Is the reason why my hand went like, ah! And he caught it right in the nut, right in the face, man.
Did you tell him that you couldn't numb it up? It'd be over in a minute.
All of a sudden, the cast goes up and blood. It's like,
Good job, Vinnie. I'm so proud of you.
And I never forget, man, the guy who was taking the screws out. No, he wasn't taking the screws. It was the doctor taking the screws out. But the guy that was standing next to him was the cast technician, a guy named Meredith. He was a West Indian guy, great guy, man. I mean, he was ace. This guy knew his stuff, man. And all of a sudden, I hit him. And oh my God, I'm sorry, Doc. Oh my God.
But not really.
But not all that sorry. And I'm looking down and I'm seeing it. And Meredith, the cast guy, is just doubled over, man. He's like laughing so hard. I got a funny feeling that they started giving people some kind of sedative after that.
I think maybe they used a little, yeah.
Yeah, laughing gas, Dilaudid, I don't know, whatever you Quaaludes, that might have been the day they invented the Quaalude.
Load them up, load them up. I'm not taking another one on the nose.
Yeah, really. Oh yeah. Now that was a moment to behold in medical history, man.
They should have known that screw being so long was apt to be bent sometime with all the use of it, with the body weight on it.
Anyway, so we had Brenda Love, and she did the thing and the impaling thing and everything. Oh my God. Then we had somebody from the Condor come in and talk about what it took to be a dancer at the Condor.
How you gonna dance?
And where you could apply. And we had remember Annie Sprinkle?
Yes.
we had Annie Sprinkle come on and talk to us about erotic, how you could start your own erotic phone line. And of course, in the course of interviewing Annie Sprinkle, I'll never forget this. I mentioned, because I used to, be on the show as well in the afternoon, I mentioned to Annie some offhanded remark, like we did with Chris Schenkel that time about Wilt Chamberlain. And so, yeah, man, I was one of Wilt Chamberlain. So she went into this whole thing about Wilt Chamberlain.
A client.
No, not a client. She was just, she used to hook up with Wilt when he came to New York.
Oh, of course.
One of the 10, at that time, the whole big thing was, remember, Chamberlain said he'd slept with 10,000 women.
And he remembers their names, and he can do it in alphabetical order.
Yeah, he could do it by alphabet, by country, by city.
However you want to break it down.
Last name, first name, and middle initial.
And professional name.
Oh, man. So anyway, I don't know how we got off on talking about KDBK. It was a short-lived but great radio station from, 92 to 93, because the day I got fired at KDBK was the same day that I got hired at KJR.
Wow, really?
They came in on a Friday morning.
Like
and we
do.
knew it was going belly up, because that's when we started. Because all that time, I was doing the thing with you about the bus drive.
Yeah, well, Cincinnati, remember, had to go on the road for the whole month.
No, it was Houston.
Was it Houston?
Houston Republican Convention.
They couldn't play at home. There you go.
And we started doing that bit, the bus driver, and the people at KJR, and liked it, and you pushed it, and next thing you know, Keith Shipman is out of a job.
It worked.
And boom, here I am up in Seattle. But they came in that morning of that day in January, it was right after New Year's, and said, I guess a couple of weeks after New Year's. Right after New Year's was the city. That happened, like, we came back from New Year's, remember? And boom, they fired us all. And then, came in, and like they do in radio stations, said, go in the room, see the lady.
There's no point in seeing the lady. She's got nothing to tell you. You can buy.
No, actually, with Viacom, they had a package and a severance check.
Well,
so I think they gave us like a month or 2 months.
The city didn't.
The city actually checked you for pens and equipment as you walked out the door.
Yeah. Could you turn off that light when you go?
No, they were horrible, man. They check you for everything. No, nobody's taking any albums out of this place.
They came in right when my morning show was over, and I was in the bathroom. We're all standing at the wall urinals, and there's Breaker and a bunch of people. Nobody says anything, but they're all just whispering to one another. So I go, okay. I left the building.
Yeah, you knew it. You knew something was up.
I was not going to go to the meeting.
The only thing that I regret about KDBK going is we had the Great Wall in the lobby. Remember the lobby of the city? You were, and they had that one big wall in there, and we had everybody who came into the station sign it. So it had, a few hundred signatures on it that were really cool.
They painted over that immediately.
And I was so tempted to go back and just cut the wall out and keep it. But I really had no place to put it.
You need a place with no wall to put the wall.
Yeah, because there was a lot of cool. I mean, Joe Montana was on that wall. I think Steve Young might have been on that wall. A bunch of 49ers had come in. I had gotten, because I was actually the sports director at that station, so I had gotten a number of different sports people come into the station.
Bay Area
luminaries, bright lights in the Seattle sports scene. And unfortunately, the whole thing, it would have been a great piece to have framed or something. Yeah. Although I don't know how much they charge you to frame a wall.
It's cheaper to paint over it.
Yeah, but I do have a picture of the wall. I was smart enough on the left, or I kept the camera in my desk for some bizarre reason. And so I have a great picture of me and Barry Williams from the Partridge Family standing, not the Partridge, is the Partridge Family or the Brady Bunch? The Brady Bunch. And he's standing with me, and you can see the wall in the background, some of the signatures. Goldthwait was on, Bob Gold, all of San Francisco.
Oh, sure.
Every comedian in San Francisco came through 3 or 4 times at least. Before they were famous.
Yeah.
I mean, who's the guy? Kevin, he was in Casino. Oh man.
I know who you mean. I can't think of
I mean, yeah, he's been in a million movies, but he was a stand-up comic in San Francisco.
That one breakthrough movie he had about growing up in Baltimore. Remember that?
Kevin Pollak.
You're right.
Kevin Pollak, yeah. Anyway, so let's
we should probably mark the passing of Sidney Poitier. He died at the age of 94. I know you wanted to mention that.
Yeah, definitely.
What I thought of immediately was They Call Me Mr. Tibbs.
Great movie. Gets right up in Rod Steiger's grill, man.
Yep. And Rod Steiger had never seen that before in his life, or the character hadn't, I should say.
Yeah. It was, you know what? The way Hollywood was at that point, maybe Rod Steiger had never seen it before, because it was still at that point in 1967 very unheard of to have a black character get in the grill of a white guy,
especially in the South over a crime.
Right. It was almost unbelievable.
The unbelievable part was that Philadelphia would send a detective to the South to solve a crime.
Yeah.
No.
I think that was
no.
Yeah, I think that was maybe the most unbelievable part of it. My Sidney Poitier movie was Lilies of the Field. That was the to me, I was a young and impressionable. Let's see, I was in PS 152. I think it was 1965.
You and Gene Simmons were down at the candy store.
Well, this was a different school. This was before I got to Gene. Gene Simmons was probably at the candy store when I was in PS 152. He was a few years ahead of me. And Lilies of the Field was this great movie that was our GO movie in 1965. They had these things in New York called the GO, which was the student organization. And you paid, I don't know, 75 cents, 15 cents, I forget what it was. You got a button that said GO, and you wore it. You were part of the student organization. The big thing that the GO did, besides give you book covers every year, was they had a GO movie. And it was usually a first-run movie that they would bring into the auditorium, and everybody in the GO got to go down and sit in the auditorium. And the kids who didn't come up with the money to join the GO had to stand outside and look through the through the windows. But Lilies of the Field was the GO movie in 65. And it was a very racially charged time, Michael, as you remember.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And to see a black man interacting with nuns, now don't forget, I had just been thrown out of Catholic school.
Well, you deserved it. That was a long time coming, Vinnie.
Yeah, it was at least 3 or 4 years coming, because I was in the 4th grade.
You were out of their reach you were out of their realm of influence.
I was out of the realm of influence.
We've tried everything, and I do mean everything. We can't get to him. Let him go.
And there were no black kids in Catholic school. Closest we got was this kid Orlando, who was Spanish.
That's not very close.
Not very close. He was I don't know if he was Puerto Rican or Cuban or but some kind of white Spanish, darker, not black, but dark, and that was as close as we got. And racism was everywhere. And here they're showing us a movie that is showing that not only can black people be nice, but black people can also are smart enough to build something. Or, it goes against everything that we're hearing from parents, even some educators, the thing that you see all the time, you're surrounded by it as a kid. And that's your learning. I was 10 years old. It's your formative years. And although I didn't buy a lot of it, for some reason, because I think the best reason was my father had black people working for him, and I could see that what they were saying was bull. These people had great music. They talked to you. They hung out. Jimmy, the guy, drank down in the pit. But hey, you know what? My father drank in the office. So, what's different about that? But it influenced me. It really... It made me, it did two things. It influenced me in the fact that it showed that a black person could be kind, compassionate, get along with people,
and be a star.
And be a star. Well, you didn't think of people. I still had, to me at that point, I think Bozo the Clown was a star.
Yeah, well, Bozo
Sidney Poitier was guy on, and I remember the thing that I took away from the movie the most was the song "Amen."
Amen.
And amen.
It wasn't the Persuasions, I take it.
No, it was Sidney Poitier singing it, but the Impressions had a hit with it. Probably earlier that year.
Right.
Curtis Mayfield, the Impressions, because I remembered I connected the two songs. And the song stuck with me all of those years. And so much so that in, 5 years ago, when they took my trach tube out, I could finally talk. The first thing I did was sang "Amen."
Amen, because you wanted to.
Well, because I got my voice back. I couldn't talk. I had to, use a whiteboard.
Well, that's crazy.
To talk to people. I didn't know if I ever would talk again. Until they took that thing out, you just didn't know.
Ooh, that's rough.
So yeah, it was scary. It was. I'll just never forget it. That's the first thing I did. Is I did the big guy that took the thing out. I remember just looking at him and go, "Amen." Amen. Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Curtis Mayfield. These were people that showed us that what Louis Armstrong, I'll go with Louis Armstrong in that category. They were entertainers that showed us that everything we were being told
was a lie. Sounds familiar. Take a look at the front page today. About half of you being told is a lie.
Yep. It was what your parents, it was what the establishment, it was what they wanted you to believe.
And Vinnie, even today, what America loves best is a lie. A big one, a fat one, a juicy one, an indefensible one that can never possibly float, one could never possibly be real. The more ridiculous the lie, the more Americans love it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what we're based. We're based on a lie, Michael. When you really think about it, we're based on.
Freedom for everybody.
Yeah,
freedom for everybody.
All men are created equal, unless you got dark skin.
I didn't mean all men. I just said all men.
all men are created equal unless you're a woman.
I didn't mean all people. I meant some men.
All men are created equal unless you don't own land.
I said not everybody. When I say everybody, remember, I'm not talking about each and every one of you.
So, I mean, the premise, the idea that they're saying is a great idea. I mean, it's endured to this day.
Yeah, but remember, our founding fathers were making it up on paper. It had never been done before.
Right. There was some adjustments needed that never took place. Maybe now they're starting to take place. But I wonder if our republic will withstand the conforming to the idea that the founding fathers had.
Well, if you have a party that will vote no on everything that represents progress, you've got a difficult road ahead of you.
Yeah.
And a difficult road behind you.
If you take the pro out of progressive, you can wind up in trouble very quickly.
It's the kind of road where you can't make a left or a right, and you can't go forward and you can't go back and you can't go anywhere, but you're expected to go. Just go.
Well, and Michael, listen, whose fault is that?
There's a list of names I could give you.
Yeah, you'd have to take out the phone book.
I want to put Joe Manchin on the list, and I want to put a few legislative leaders on the list, but mostly
it's the people that elect them.
It's the people who say, I like the lie. The bigger the lie, the more impossible the lie, the more I like it.
Because for many people, a lie is comfortable.
It keeps you comfortable. If there wasn't for the lie, we'd have to deal with the reality, and that's too much.
If
that's something Americans don't do well. We do not do reality. Our kind of reality is a reality show. Is it scripted? It's taken care of. It's edited. It's fixed. We do the post-production, and we take care of all the little mistakes we made. That's reality. Real reality. That's something we do not ever deal with. We don't cotton to it. I don't hold with it. Ain't gonna. No way.
Because it's uncomfortable.
And it's unpredictable. Real things are unpredictable.
It's uncomfortable. It's comfortable to see a bunch of black people marching down Pennsylvania Avenue. But when you see a bunch of white people walking down Pennsylvania Avenue with poles and sticks, and they get to the
and bear spray, when they get to where they can spray it with their bear spray, you got a problem.
You got a problem. I mean, I'm not saying that we've never seen violence from African Americans. We've seen it from African Americans. We've seen it from Polish Americans. We've seen it from Italian Americans. America is a country, let's face it, is one of the most violent countries in the world.
We welcome it, we encourage it, and we have an industry based on it.
We tell you to go get guns to protect yourself from it.
And here come the cops with the guns to take them away from you, or just shoot you down. They don't have to take it. You can have the gun. You just can't have the life that goes with it.
So, at the risk of getting too deeply into it on a Fractious Friday, I will say that, going back to Poitier for a second, to Sidney Poitier, he put on movie screens, especially, I think probably the ultimate shocking movie from Poitier was looking at Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
That was something. That was a great movie.
You hadn't seen that before.
No.
Now we see it in commercials.
Yeah.
Now it's you don't even think about it anymore when you see it. Although I suspect that a certain portion of our population does.
Well, don't you know that Sidney Poitier and the studios in Hollywood in general met all sorts of resistance? What, you couldn't get a white guy to do that part? You couldn't get a white guy to play the black guy? It had to be a black guy. We don't want to see that on our screens. We're not going to go see your movie in our town. We're not going to support your studio where I come from. That's not done. We don't hold with it.
Well, you know what's interesting about that is that I was watching. I really wasn't even watching it. I kind of had it on in the background.
I've done that.
A serial called Agent X9. And it was something that ran in, I think, 1945, movie serial. And Lloyd Bridges plays Agent X9, a young Lloyd Bridges. And they have the premise is they're on this neutral island in the Pacific where spies from all different powers come because it's a neutral territory.
They embark and what's the word I'm looking for? Doesn't matter. They meet and they greet.
And this it's all run by this kind of Sidney Greenstreet kind of Casablanca character.
Couldn't they get James Mason?
He was gone. I have to tell you a funny James Mason story. And so they have, there's Germans and there's Japanese and there's Chinese and there's Americans and there's all sorts of different.
Do they have any Russian spies?
All kinds of spies. But the Germans and the Japanese obviously are painted as the evil, but yet they have this woman and a couple of other people. Now, to be fair, they don't have Japanese actors, but they have Chinese actors. Benson Fong is one of the actors who, I don't know if you remember, from Bachelor Father.
Oh, yes.
The great John Forsythe sitcom of the 60s. But the woman who is the Japanese spy is not Japanese. Because Hollywood did not cast Japanese people in those days. Even before, if you go back and you look at how many times did Anthony Quinn play a Chinese or a Japanese?
Or an Arabian.
Or an Arabian. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood didn't cast Asian people in Asian roles. Didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, the funny thing is you can't it's tough to get, although they did do it in the 30s and 40s, it's tough to get a white actor that can be credible as a black person.
I'm sure it happened, but I hate to think about the results. Al Jolson. It's going to look like Al Jolson.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get blackface. That's basically what you get. So
should I see the rest of Agent X9? Is it a good ending?
I didn't get to the ending yet. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it because it's these like 20-minute little serial, like the old Superman serials.
Did they run in the caverns with Lothar and the hand people reaching out of the walls?
Yes, they do. They have a cave on the island where they put people.
They always do. There's always a
cave.
Yep.
There's always a cave.
I'm watching a series with Kristen called The Heist. It's a Spanish drama about a group of robbers that break into a mint and don't want to be rescued. They're printing money to get to dig a hole and take out millions and millions of euros, hundreds of millions of euros. And I thought it was, I've gone through 18 episodes now, and then I find out there's like 30 more. It's just so long. It's like 8 seasons, and it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's called The Heist on Netflix.
Heist. I'll have to.
It's not for the light of heart, because you're going to have to invest some time to get to the end of the heist, and there's plenty of places to go. My God, it's going on forever.
Now, one more thing about Sidney Poitier before we move on to something we actually did, but if you want a good Sidney Poitier movie that nobody really knows about all that much, it's actually filmed live, not filmed live, but filmed here in Seattle. It's from 1965. It's called The Slender Thread. And it's one of my favorite movies. Actually, it's Sidney Poitier and Anne Bancroft.
Whoa.
And Poitier plays a volunteer at a suicide hotline that seems to be located somewhere around the Seattle center. And Bancroft is, Bancroft is a woman who calls the suicide hotline because she took a bunch of sleeping pills. And now all of a sudden she doesn't want to die.
And he can't find her.
And he can't find her. They're trying to find her. And one of the great things about them, it's a Sidney Pollack directed movie. And this is a great movie because Telly Savalas plays the doctor.
Oh.
Edward Asner plays the police detective, the Seattle police detective. And the score is by Quincy Jones.
Well, there's a Seattle boy.
From Seattle. So it's just, it's one of those movies that nobody knows about. Well, I'm sure some people know about it, but not many people know about it. I didn't know about it, and I caught on to it one night many years ago when they ran it like at 2:00 in the morning on TCM.
Huh.
And I said, crap, I'd never seen this before. Had no knowledge of the movie. I think it was even before I moved to Seattle. And it was, it really was an incredible, I suggest anybody, if you want to see a great cast and great performance, and Sidney Poitier at his best, in a non-racial role.
Right.
A role that just features him not as the black man, but just as a man.
Right.
Who is concerned about a fellow human being, so concerned that he works at this suicide hotline. And he desperately tries to save this woman.
Did they listen to the tape of her calls and come up with a neighborhood based on the sound of the trees?
They listen to you know what? They don't have a tape of her calls. They have to keep her on the line.
Oh, God.
Which is part of
the drama.
The drama is Poitier has to talk to her, and she's as they're talking, they form a relationship. And it's psychodrama, and it's, and for, I don't know why they don't or can't trace the call. You would think that a suicide hotline place, even in 1965, would be able to figure this out. But
in 1965, he was the only black guy in town.
In Seattle, probably so, pretty damn close to it. I mean, there wasn't even a basketball team here. There was nothing.
I want to say hello, by the way, to our friends in Wenatchee who can't hear a word we're saying because they're under 60 feet of snow. If you survive and get out, watch Mikey and Vinnie on Monday morning, 10:10 on your Patutor.
Yeah, we'll be, or even earlier, just go to YouTube, and we'll be right there on.
Pick out one of our older shows and enjoy.
Yeah, matter of fact, you have like 5 of them up now. So I put a couple of Mikey and Vinnie classics up there.
They are classics. They're fabulous.
So yeah, Sidney. Let's see.
The slender thread, right?
The slender thread, not rated. 1965, 1 hour and 38 minutes of your life that you will, at some point when you see this movie, you will thank me for it.
Let's thank him in advance, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, New York Vinnie, for that remembrance. And thanks for folding the papers at the candy store, because otherwise Gene Simmons would have never gotten into rock and roll.
Oh, I think he would have I think he would have done okay. Before, or was it concurrent too? It might have been concurrent too. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the New York Dolls.
Yes.
And how they used to play at this place, Coventry, on Queens Boulevard, that used to be a Rambler dealer. Also, Kiss played there in their early days. When they first, came together as a band, that was another band that played Coventry, as well as, many other New York area
Wonder what they did at Coventry for an encore. We're out of songs. We're out of blood. I'm sorry. Good night, everybody. See you
Good night,
later.
everybody. It's a short set, but it's a good set. Except, it's funny at Coventry. I spent 2 New Year's Eves at Coventry, and
Concurrent?
both times
Yeah.
they were salsa parties. I think one time I saw like Joe Barretto, or some of the Fania All Stars, and they were great. I mean, they put on like these great salsa parties. Also,
Great rhythm section. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, you haven't lived until you've gone out and either sat or danced. I challenge you to sit. As fat and old as you are, when you hear that music, man, you get up and start moving. It yeah, but two New Year's Eves in a row I spent at Coventry, and both of them were salsa.
That's why Vicky always had to. That's why Ricky Ricardo always had to go down to the club. Lucy, I'm going down to the club.
Did you see that movie yet?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No, I'm going to watch it this weekend. My friend saw it, says it's totally worth the time, and I saw a clip with Lucy Arnaz, who also said that it was that she felt that Nicole Kidman had captured her mother,
her real mother,
Lucille Ball, and it looks good. I will watch it this weekend. So I'm going to watch The Slender Thread. I'm going to watch Being the Ricardos, and you're
going to watch some playoff football, I guess.
Well, there's no playoff football, is there?
Chargers. It amounts to the same. Chargers and the Raiders get together for the decisive game.
Yeah, and I know the Steelers have to have about 10 things happen for them to get into it, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. It's a weird schedule, isn't there? Isn't there football tonight?
I think so. Is it the Raiders and the Chargers tonight?
Yeah, I think it might be. I think there's football tonight, football tomorrow, and then football on Sunday to close.
And then the college playoff game, Georgia and Alabama on Monday.
Yeah, I got no interest in the college football, to be honest.
Come on, be a mensch.
I got no interest in either of those teams.
Well, as for being from Alabama or Georgia, I'm not. As for going there, I won't. But as for football, you might as well see somebody who's going to play for your team someday. Some of these guys are going to be Jets.
Not if they're smart.
Well, if they were smart, would they be in Georgia or Alabama?
No, lo contendere, pal.
You can take your contendere and hold it between your knees, okay?
Or Rollo Tomasi. Oh,
same thing.
By the way, we never talked about this. It happened last week. Did you see the Rolling Stone article? You talk about life imitating art. The movie L.A. Confidential, right?
Yep.
Okay, so did you see the Rolling Stone article about the actual people who are doing plastic surgery to people to make them look like rock stars?
Oh God, no.
Yeah, go to Rolling Stone. Go Google Rolling Stone. It's an LA, it's an LA it's the same exact thing as they were, except in LA Confidential, they were doing it and using them as prostitutes.
Of course, in LA Confidential, David Strathairn was the evil doctor.
Well, he wasn't the doctor. He was Paige Patchett. He was the
facilitator
who ran. Yeah, he was the pimp. He ran Fleur de Lis. Every time I see that movie, it just pisses me off that Kevin Spacey is canceled. He played such a great part in that movie.
You can't have everything, and some people can't have anything.
Well, it's cancel culture these days, Michael. If
out you go,
you diddle where you're supposed to daddle.
Hey, I told you we could always get another comedian. Out you go.
Out you go. So yeah, this guy has been doing it, I guess, since the 80s, cutting up, people with similar body types to be Elvis imitators, to be Janis Joplin imitators, to because there's a big market.
Make a career out of not being able to sing or dance.
Yeah, well, I guess they teach them, just like they did with the with the the women in LA Confidential.
That thing you do.
Yeah, it's a little bit that thing you do. I guess if you mixed up that thing you do with LA Confidential, this is what you get.
This is what.
Yeah. Check it out, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
All right, I'll look that up
a little bit next week sometime. But it's fascinating to me to because the storyline of the article follows so closely to what you saw in LA Confidential. And there's murder, and there's all sorts of things that go on.
It was all happening before Hollywood got a hold of it.
It almost makes you think, did somebody in Hollywood know about this? Because it's been going on since, I think, the 80s, and just, take the story and say, okay, we'll flip it around.
Flip it around, you're going to love it. Let me pitch you this in the elevator.
Let me picture this. Let me picture this while we pitch this. Tomorrow, Michael, is Elvis's birthday.
How old will he have been? Older.
80. Boy, I want to say 8. Well, let's look. Somewhere in his 80s.
Elvis did not age well.
This is the 45th year since he has passed.
Wow.
So tomorrow on Drive Time, we will dedicate 1935.
That was a good year.
Hell of a year. Good year for Elvis. Not so good for his brother.
Also not so good for anybody else who wanted to actually have a career in rock and roll. There was none.
Well, there was music that you weren't allowed to listen to.
There was race music.
Yeah, Robert Johnson was, traveling the highways, Highway 61. I mean, he was going up and down from Chicago to, they needed somebody to do
that way out on Highway 61. Yeah, the juke joints.
The juke joints and all the different places.
How did it get from a juke joint, which gave us the juke box, to juking someone on the field? You juke them and they go this way and you go that way and you get by them.
Damn if I know. Damn if I know. But we have, so for tomorrow on Drive Time, we will pay tribute to the King.
As you should.
We are going to talk about the cars of Elvis. I've done some research, and it seems that Elvis has recorded more songs about cars than any other artist.
Really? Name one. I can't think of one.
Cadillac, Spin Out, Speedway.
Speedway? I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
It's a movie. It's the theme song to a movie.
Another Hal Wallace production?
Another Hal Wallace production with Colonel Tom Parker as consultant.
As associate producer.
The Long Road. The Long Black Limousine, which is a great Elvis song. I think they played it at his funeral. He talks about the long black limousine that brings his love back to him.
Oh dear.
But she's a changed woman when she gets out of that limousine.
No doubt. She had rock star surgery in LA.
Yes, it sounds like she got out of the car and she was I don't know, she was Joni Mitchell.
Put on her makeup and he was a she. Hey,
with a
girl,
limp.
take a walk on the wild side.
With a limp, yeah.
With a slight, you hardly notice it in the long dress. Why is she limping? Oh, they took the screws out with the thing and it was going like this.
Oh, Mikey. Anyway, yes, so we'll do that. I believe we're going to have somebody from the Graceland Auto Museum.
All the pink Cadillacs are in there.
Oh
Elvis's
no, there's a
mother's
lot of
Cadillac.
cool cars. I've actually been to the Graceland Auto Museum, and it's and because the show falls on Elvis's birthday, and I'm an Elvis fan, so you got to do a little something if you're in the position to do it.
And on George Reeves' birthday, we always do a Superman show. So that's good.
Well, we should. What is his birthday? June 16th, is it? No, see, now you're making me look.
Now you're making me look. You may make.
Let's see. Come on, George, where's your birthday? Yeah, June 16th, no, he died on June 16th. His birthday was January 5th.
Coming up.
No.
Coming up next year.
Yeah, coming up next year is January 7th.
It's always coming up.
Hard to believe that.
Hard to believe we missed Superman's birthday. Damn.
Yeah, how did we do that? Well, you know what? It's always funny because I always relate more to
his death
day than I do to his birthday, believe it or not. Not that I know a lot about it, or not that I've ever been to 1579 Benedict Canyon Road.
Oh, no.
And looked up into the second floor.
No. Not that he can tell you all the guys that played secondary characters in every scene.
Not that I could do anything like that. Not that I could, tell you the 4 times where the Superman flying effect was inserted backwards.
To make him land.
To make him land while he was taking off. I couldn't tell you anything like that.
Make him land while he was taking off. There's got to be there is a country song title. Make him land while he's taking off.
They made him land while he was taking off. What the hell ever happened to Superman?
What the hell ever happened there?
Well, not that I could tell you every song that was ever written about Superman.
Well, there's one by the Kinks.
Yeah, there's one by the Kinks. There's one by Donovan.
Sunshine Superman.
Sunshine Superman. There's the great Don McLean song Superman's Ghost, which is specifically about George Reeves.
That I didn't know.
Oh yeah, didn't we play it at the City?
Maybe.
I think we did. I think we played it at the City, actually. I think we may have actually played that song because it's a great song.
Works good for the demo.
Yeah. I don't want to be like old George Reeves, stuck in a Superman role. I got a long way to go in my career. Great song.
They made him land when he was taking off. There you go.
No way.
And
I mean, even when I was a kid, I saw it. I said, "What?" I said to my sister, "Wait a minute." We were watching it.
I may be folding papers at
right.
the time. That wasn't perfect. That was not special effects. That was just reverse.
They just put, who was the sound guy? Thal Simonson just put the tape in backwards.
I got this, guys. I'm going to make him land.
I think it was Thal Simonson. It's interesting. Because I'm a geek for old TV shows, I've been watching a couple of the old Racket Squads.
Oh, God.
And they use the same soundtrack in the Racket Squad that they do in Superman. It's the NBC Orchestra soundtrack.
Bum, 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 bum.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Play it once, use it in every damn show out there.
Use it. Well, I'm sure NBC, sat the orchestra down once. Who was it Toscanini was their conductor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Arturo Toscanini was conducted
the
in studio. I believe it was the same studio that they filmed Saturday Night Live in now.
Probably.
Is where they 8H is where they
RCA had their recording studios.
Yeah. Used to assemble the orchestra in there and cut. It's where I believe Dragnet was the theme for Dragnet was cut.
And look, we can use it in Superman, and here it is in Mr. Peepers. It works
Yep.
beautifully in any situation.
Wally Cox, get in here.
While I get in here, my mother the car. I got a great song for you. It's been used. No, fits. It fits perfectly.
I wonder who wrote My Mother the Car. And now you got me thinking. I have a great version of that song
Somebody
by none
named
other.
somebody named Shell. Shell something.
Yeah, Shel Silverberg.
There
Not
you
to be
go.
confused with Shel Silverstein.
No, not to be confused with him.
I actually have a version of My Mother the Car sung by none other than our show's hero, Sammy Davis Jr.
God, no.
Yes.
Was it a filler on an album?
It's from a live performance.
Well, I'm sure he regrets it.
Oh no, I bet you he reveled in it. I'm trying to think when he did it. I think it
On the Gary Moore show.
No, I think it was actually in Vegas. I think it was. I think he did it. I think he did it in Vegas. All right, here you go. You ready?
I think I am.
Can we not have commercials? I hate commercials.
I hate commercials.
You hear
I
it?
hear it. No. Yes, I do.
Everybody knows in the second life we all come back sooner or later. Is anything from a pussy cat to a man-eating alligator? Well, you may think my story is more fiction than it's fact, but believe it or not, my mother dear decided she'd come back as a car. She's my very own guiding star.
How could you
My
not
very
love
own
that?
guy. Guiding star rhymes with car. Who would have thunk?
How could you not love that?
That'll okay. You gonna play that on Saturday tomorrow?
I played it. No, I'm gonna play. I'm probably gonna. I can't figure out which Elvis song I'm gonna go with yet. I've got a nice selection, obviously, to go with. So I don't know what the Elvis song will be, but we will get it figured out.
Is Elvis's mother's Cadillac in the museum?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Because lots of times older ladies get the brake confused with the accelerator, and those cars are no longer with us.
No, Gladys's car is in the museum.
The harder I pressed, the faster it went. Yeah, that's how it's made.
Elvis, I couldn't figure it out.
I tried.
And we'll also, what else are we going to do tomorrow? We're going to review a couple of cars. And
You should have tell them about all the passes being closed. You can't get from here to there. Every pass in the state.
Everything's, you can't go anywhere. So you may as well just sit back and listen to the show. We'll also have a quick look at the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, which really is the best auto show that's been out there in the last 2 or 3 years, since COVID certainly started, because everybody's showing off their electric cars.
Yeah,
Sony even showed off a car.
They want to get into the market, eh?
They want to get into the car making business.
Do me a favor, Sony. Get a partner now. If you do this on your own, you're going to be an idiot.
I think they actually are talking about a partner. I think there's news out there about a partner.
Bring back the Pontiac. How's that? Bring back the GTO, the electric GTO.
You will see. They debuted yesterday the electric Silverado pickup truck.
Yeah, of course.
So they now have one that will go with the Ford. But I think that there's two really interesting debuts over the last couple of days. One was VinFast. I love the name. Is a Vietnamese automaker.
Oh,
I think we've talked about them a little bit before. Maybe not. Maybe we haven't. No, actually, maybe I was just talking about it on drive time. But they are an electric automaker. They've been around a few years in Vietnam, I think since the 90s as a manufacturer, but they decided to go into electric cars. And everything I've seen from them so far looks pretty good and affordable.
mm.
And the other really awesome looking car was Chrysler. Stellantis is their parent company. Showed off the Chrysler Airflow, which, if you're, Airflow was the car back in the 30s that changed the design of cars.
Instead of the box on a box.
Right. It was instead of the box on, this was a monocoque unibody car that looked like what we came to know as 40s and 30s and 40s cars.
Streamlined.
Yes, yeah, streamlined. Wheels moved out to the corners, lots of interior space. So they've revived that name and slapped it on this very attractive people mover. So we'll see. Chrysler, it's become kind of a little bit not boring. I won't say they're boring because they have the Ram and they have the, a bunch of other the 300 and the Chargers, but all of that's probably going away. And
their passenger cars are ready for a total remake.
Well, yeah, they've been the same car since the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chrysler, I remember taking the Chrysler 300 out to Seahawks camp and showing it to backup quarterback Seneca Wallace. So that had to be like 2001.
And they haven't changed a damn thing since.
And it's basically the same car.
Well, they just don't have to hire designers or innovators.
Yeah. Well, they've innovated. I mean, it's not that it's just physically the way you look at it is the same.
Right.
They've obviously done, mounds and mounds of stuff inside the car, to change the car. If you're driving a 2003 or 2005, whatever it is, it's not the same as, if you go and buy a 2021 or 22.
They loaded it with tricks.
They put all the stuff in there that you need to put in there. And it's still the only full-size American car you can buy anymore. When you think of full-size American cars, that's the last one.
And how many do they sell every year?
Not many. But the great thing is they don't have to go out and redesign it every year. Just keep it going.
Good enough. Chrysler 300. There you go. Enjoy.
There you go. Oh, Mikey.
Well, have a good show tomorrow. Melt some snow. See if people can go from east to west in the state of Washington.
I got a tweet from the Department of Transportation, WSDOT, that said, "Don't make any plans.
Don't go there, and don't come here."
Yeah, don't come up here. Don't go to the snow. Don't go swimming, skiing. Don't go swimming.
And don't go swimming.
Stay home. Find your favorite Sidney Poitier movie. And
by the way, if you swim in the Puget Sound, are there sharks out there?
Whales.
The whales don't eat you.
They just had the polar plunge. Like, I don't know, what was it, the first or the second? Everybody goes down to Alki Beach and jumps in the water.
Everybody?
Everybody who's not mentally stable.
Everybody.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever jump in like San Francisco Bay or
no
in the winter?
No, it's cold. I jump in the Pacific. I jump in the Pacific Ocean on the island of Maui, where it's 80 degrees. You'll find me doing that. I don't jump in the bay. It's 45 degrees. The bay's so cold you'll die.
Oh, I did it
on a hot summer day. You got 10 minutes to do what you want when you jump in the bay. Otherwise, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Get in and get out. I did it. I jumped into the Deschutes River.
Nope, ain't gonna do that either.
In the middle of winter.
Nope.
With Drew Bledsoe.
Drew, go with the light, okay? Go. You take a jump, take a leap of faith. I ain't going with you.
It was for a good cause, but I did it. And I got to tell you, you talk about shrinkage. I don't think it still came out yet.
No, it's not. You think will return to its former shape, but no, it will not.
No, this is what you get for being an idiot.
Because there's two parts. There's the shrinkage, and then there's the shrink wrap, and you never get out of the wrap.
You didn't have to do that. You could have just stood on the shore and reported on it, but instead you got bamboozled into doing it.
You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, you're a guy that has the gift of gab. You could have
just talked your way out of it.
Talk your way out of it, but no. Drew's going in. I'm going in.
Of course, Drew Bledsoe to this day will tell you, that wasn't cold.
No, Drew Bledsoe will tell you, I can't do a falsetto anymore. It's that cold. It's not cold.
It's not cold.
Thank you. I think I did. I lost that part of my vocal cords. I can't do a.
There goes your falsetto.
Yeah, I get yeah. I can't do it anymore. That sucks.
We'll just warm you up. Yeah, well, you can sing the melody.
Well, I used to be able to do Frankie Valli better than Frankie Valli.
Now that's hard.
By the way, our best wishes to Frankie Valli.
What's going on? Is he okay?
He's got pneumonia.
He's
canceled his concerts for until late in 2022.
Frankie, stay home, get well, wait for this thing to pass. Okay.
87 years old, and he's still going out on the road, man.
Apparently, the big girls, they don't cry.
You wonder when 87, man.
Does he still owe the guys money? Still owe the corporation money?
He must owe Chip to Carlo, still 50 grand.
Up 45, down to 45, Frankie. But with the VIG, you're back up to 50.
It never goes down with those guys.
No, the VIG always restores the former number.
The only way you get out of those guys is you got to have a big night at the crap table, man. You got to go in and just hand them the money, or come up with an inheritance,
or turn it around so they owe you.
And then they try to talk you out of paying them back.
Yeah, don't pay me. Hold on to this.
They spend weeks saying we'll come and break your legs if you don't pay me. But then when you go to pay them,
they don't want it.
They say, we don't want you to pay us. No, listen, keep the money. Use it for something.
Yeah.
Here you go. Buy a new car from the Mafia Co Finance Company.
By the way, when they say the VIG is 2 points, do they mean 2 points, or what? 2 points of what?
Yeah, boom, 2 points. All right, Mikey. Boy, we've our shows are getting longer.
I know, we got carried away.
And we always get. Well, there's a lot to talk about today.
It's a classic. It's a classic. Put it up on YouTube's.
It's going right up on YouTube in a matter of moments. All right, man. Listen.
All right. See you Monday. Have a good show. Have a good show tomorrow at 8:00.
I will. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. We will re-adjourn this meeting of minds on Monday morning at 10:10. Do you like the 10:10 thing?
I'm good with it.
I like it. Yeah, I think it's different because
it's memorable.
10 o'clock.
That's right, but not 10:10.
But we are prepared for the day that we get on Real Radio, and they have a news slot up there.
A news block, a couple spots, and then we'll join you after the theme.
10:10. 10:10 wins New York. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you Ajita.
I will. I don't know what you'll give them. That one guy, he gives me angina.
Ajita. Always getting Ajita from that guy. All right, Mikey, listen, we'll see you Monday if the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise.
Manischewitz, what a wine.
Yes, peace, love, and Manischewitz.
It's a wonderful product. See you, man.
All right, see you, Mikey. And see you too. By the way, Elvis in the background with a Corvette and a baseball stitched suit. How could you not love this?